They had some pieces: Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Juan Thornhill. They've added some pieces. Chuck Clark, they just added today. And added him to the fold. I think it's going to be a battle between those two, Clark and Thornhill, on who's going to actually start at the free safety position. I know a lot of people just think it's automatically Thornhill. I mean, Clark has been a starter in this league for a while. Started for a while. Missed 2023 with a knee injury, but he started 12 games with the Jets last year and I'm not saying he wasn't a slouch. And his 2024 tape, if you put that next to Juan Thornhill's tape, ugh, Thornhill had a bad 2024. Let's just say that. Nice. And say it was just a bad 2024. But I think it's going to be a battle. But here's the thing. We need both. We need both the guys. We need, a little bit of depth back there at safety, and I'll take both of them over KZ. KZ was a little bit of a smaller guy trying to knock everybody out. Okay, great. I'll take these guys over KZ, and you need three safeties at least because, Killebrew, he's a special team guy. And I always say this, and I'm not trying to disrespect Killebrew, but if Miles Killebrew is on the field, the Steelers are in trouble because he is not a good every down safety. That's just not his game. It's just not his game. He is a special teamer. So we got some flexibility back there. But where the real flexibility comes is corner. I don't know. I mean, we're going to have a matchup nightmare for teams because we'll be able to slow down offense. I mean, look, we got Ramsey, JPJ, and Slay. They're going to be on the field all the time. I know that was kind of the worry that some people were like, well, what are we going to do? We got two outside corners, or basically we have three. What are we going to do with Ramsey? Well, first off, Ramsey will come and tackle you, and he can play free safety. He's done it before. That's the type of versatility that we need. Those three are going to be on the field all the time, people. So get used to it. They're going to be on the field all the time. Joey Porter Jr., first of all, he's showing a willingness to listen. Here's some of the things. He says, there's a lot of things that I still want to accomplish. Joey Porter has signed Ramsey's cleats. He still wants to accomplish. And the first thing that comes to mind is holding one of those Lombardis one day. Oh, that's what Cam Hayward said. So, but JPJ is looking, basically, he's got some signed cleats from Jalen Ramsey when he was in high school. So he's paying attention. He's listening. He's listening to what he has to say. So, Joey Porter Jr. has always been a guy that's first of all, he studies film. He's attentive. He listens. He's coachable. Well, now he's got two guys that are wanting and willing to help him. Because you heard all offseason, since Darius Slay was signed by the Steelers, that's all he's talked about is helping Joey Porter Jr. being a better cornerback, teaching him some things, stop panicking when the ball's on the way. Don't grab, don't hold. I mean, that's all he's been talking about is helping. Well, now you got a guy that's even better than Darius Slay that's willing to help him as well. Well, I mean, look, we're going to be able to stop some offenses. And that's partly of why we got Jalen Ramsey. It's to match up with personnel groups. I've said it a million times. I go, this league has changed so much in the last 10 to 15 years. You can't just run out with your base defense. Now, here's the thing is that, the Steelers last year, first off, the NFL in general, 67% of defensive snaps were in a sub-package defense. 67%. So the days of just the base defense, they're not over, clearly, but you got to match up personnel groups. You just do. However, here's the thing. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, they were 73% either a nickel or dime. 73% they were either in the nickel or dime. That is a ton. And I get that you're trying to match up personnel groups, but that's a lot. They might be able to get away with some of that year. And the reason that I say that is because even when teams come out in 12 personnel, last year, the Steelers, when teams went to 12 personnel, the Steelers went to nickel. They matched up with nickel because they were afraid of those two tight ends, especially the Ravens. But teams that threw the ball to the tight end, they would line up in nickel. Well, you're susceptible to the run if you do that. And teams figured that out. They're like, hey, you come out in nickel, we're just going to run the ball at you. Well, Jalen Ramsey will tackle you. He is not afraid to hit you. You come out, the Steelers come out in their base 3-4. You got Jalen Ramsey that can come down in the box and cover one of those tight ends, put Deshaun Elliott back. Maybe you got a little something there. Now, I know people will say, well, Deshaun Elliott's a strong safety. I get that. But his strong suit isn't coverage, it's tackling in the box. Well, if it's about coverage, put Jalen Ramsey in there. But if teams decide to run the football, well, Jalen Ramsey will come up and tackle you. It's just something to think about. Not saying it'll happen, but that's the type of flexibility that the Steelers are going to have. That's what it is. And cornerback, Lord have mercy. I mean, first of all, it's going to be a fight to see who makes the team. I just mentioned those three. Then you got Dante Kent, who the first couple of days of camp, and it's just training camp, without pads, has looked phenomenal. You still got Beanie Bishop, who started half the year at slot corner last year. You got Corey Trice Jr. You got Brandon Eccles. It's going to be a fight to see who makes the team at corner. That's number one. Then all the flexibility and the things that guys can do. That's what I'm excited about. Being able to do, and having Jalen Ramsey on our team opens up a lot more as far as what it is that we can do, ladies and gentlemen, just because he can do several different things. And so that's why the defensive flexibility is so key, because when he's out there and can play multiple positions, you can get some more speed coverage out there on the field if you need to. Or if you want to go base, you can still have him out there and you can get bigger people on the field if it's rundowns. I just love the situation that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in. I said this a couple days ago on one of the lives. I don't remember the last time the Steelers had this kind of just defensive back depth in general. I don't remember the last time that they've had this much depth, especially at cornerback, but just in general. I literally can't remember. It's been a long, long time, and we should be excited about it. We should absolutely be excited about it. One of the things that kind of goes unnoticed, complimentary football, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good secondary, but if your D-line's not good, guys can only cover people for so long. Well, I think the defensive line got better. We already know that we've got rush ends. We know we got Big Cam. Derek Harmon, so far, looks like he can't be blocked. Better D-line, better secondary. I like our chances. But you know how I feel about it. I've said it all along. You pay this kind of money for a defense, got to be top 5. I don't want to hear about us being 6. I don't want to hear us about being 8. I don't want to hear us about being 11. No. Top 5 or better. You spend that kind of money, I expect that kind of result. Be with me, Steeler fans. Be with me. Don't settle. They're 6th. No. Do not settle for it. Top 5 or better. Let's go to the poll question. Yeah, I'm sticking to that. Top 5 or better. Poll number 2. What aspect of the Steelers defense are you most excited about this season? Is it A, offensive line performance, B, defensive adjustments, C, coaching schemes, or D, overall team chemistry? So that's what I'm interested in. And I think it was the defensive line adjustments versus offensive line performance is what it meant to say. So I apologize. Either way, make sure you put a 2 in front of the poll question so we know exactly what poll question that you are answering. Moving on, the halftime here. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you for showing up. I know it's a little different today. We're doing the live, like I said, live. We've got lives that things and schedules mixed up, so we're doing the podcast as a live. So we appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. But thank you guys, as always, for being number one, for subscribing to the channel, like you always do in the comments. Two, always become a member. If you want to help support the channel that way, you know how to do that as far as becoming a member. Just click on join. Want to be at level 4 or higher so you can get all the access to the all 22 page when we break down the entire football game during the season. But if you're at level 5, you'll be able to stream the game with us as we're watching it live, get my reactions, your reactions. I'm always in the chat. We appreciate that. Steelers merch is also available. Steelers Almighty Shop. Make sure you go there to pick up any of your Steelers Almighty stuff. Thank you guys for always being. We got all those, you see them there. We got our Steelers Almighty, our Thunderbird shirts. People like those Thunderbird shirts and hats. So make sure you guys go there to pick up all your Steelers Almighty gear. And also, one last thing before we move on. If you want to get your business, if you have a business or your friend has a business and you want them to be featured on a tagline, look, we get in front of 200,000 people a month here. So if you have a business that you want them to be a part of and have a scroll on here, make sure you go to our page and check it out. And they will be able to have their logo to represent one of our shows, whether it's I don't know, the pregame show, any of the shows that we do. You guys know we do a ton during the season. Make sure you guys sign up for that as well if you want to have that show sponsored. Let's move on.